What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down what's coming out for today as we have some massive earnings. Amazon has earnings, right over here, right after the market closes, and we also have some very big data for the PCE report. So I'm going to break down how this may affect the markets going forward, why you should be very calm, cool, and collected, and how this will affect NIO moving forward based off expectations. But before I break anything down about this, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 5 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is, any could be a free NIO share. The offer ends in 3 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So anyways, when it comes to NIO, guys, we have a very crazy day ahead of us. I told you guys something very important about the market, and that's the fact that we had this falling wedge on SPY. But I wasn't sure if we would actually break out of it or not, because that would depend heavily on the data. So this is what it excuse me, sorry guys, this is what it actually looked like. We had this falling wedge, right? I told you we'd likely test it. If we broke above this, that would be bullish. If we rejected off of this would be a bearish signal. And what happened? The market just ripped to the moon to fill this gap up here. But now the question that really comes is, will the market keep pumping, or is the market going to see a big rug pull? And that is actually going to depend on many different factors. We have Amazon's earnings in a couple of hours. If Amazon kills it, the market could keep going. If Amazon doesn't necessarily kill it, or if it ends up reporting earnings that leads to a negative reaction from the share price, that could crash the markets, including NIO. Remember, NIO is going to be impacted by SPY and QQQ. That's why I'm talking about Amazon right now. The whole market will be impacted by Amazon. And also, in terms of data, we have the PCE inflationary report. The PCE report is one of the most important measures of inflation for the Fed. They prioritize this over CPI typically. And if this reports something that's a little too high, or if it's not what the market likes, the market could sell off because of this as well. This will shake the market too. But if it's okay, then the market could keep going. Now, as far as the data goes for today, Meta had good earnings. I mean, at least a good reaction. I wouldn't say earnings were that great. Pretty good since they beat on EPS and revenue. But then when it comes to something else that's very important, I just want to note that not Max Payne, I'm talking about the GDP numbers. They actually are well below what the forecast was, which signals a recession is likely coming soon. Jobless claims are also a little low. So this is actually technically not the best of data, yet the market pumped off of it. And that's because the market is thinking that, oh, because of the fact that, first off, initial jobless claims are not way too off, but GDP numbers being low increases the odds of the Fed pausing sooner. So that's what the market is thinking, but that's not good news whatsoever. Now, in addition to this, I was about to talk about Max Payne. Looking at Max Payne for tomorrow, we have 407, 1.88 put to call ratio. I will break down what I think is going to happen, but I'm always going to be open to either side because it depends on PCE and the Amazon report. Now, as far as NIO goes, in a couple of days, we're going to be getting some very important data. Don't forget about the fact that NIO is going to be reporting their deliveries for the month of April. That will impact the share price big time. Make sure you're ready for this. The ET5 is making the news as more and more people are actually welcoming it to the UK market. And overall, some of them are giving it not the best rating at 3.5 out of 5, but others do love it with the high tech that's involved. Awesome car for NIO's future. NIO has a relatively low price pairs ratio. This is once again showing that it's underperforming compared to the market, despite Barclays saying it's going to perform equally with the markets. We tend to be green about 53% of the time on Fridays for NIO. And finally, the short interest is actually going up on NIO. We saw 15 million NIO shares shorted just a couple of days ago, and that's why this is very insane. Now, finally, NIO has 28 million in volume. It lacks volume, which is not the best of sign. But the real question is what's going to happen tomorrow as the market is squeezing right now. So let's now talk about something very important. I want to look at the markets right now and show you guys something very interesting. Now, I'm always open to any possibility. I try to be as unbiased as possible on this channel. The market could pump tomorrow or it could tank depending on how Amazon's earnings goes and also the PCE report. Excuse me, sorry guys. I think a cat just caught my tongue. But anyways, when it comes to Amazon, okay, looking at this, Amazon is going to be making a very, very big move. Amazon has a tendency of actually making a big reaction to earnings. We are pumping very hard before it, and we have two gaps below. If they kill us, Amazon's going to fly to 120 plus, and the market is going to rally. If they miss on earnings, or if something is kind of like not good for them, and they end up getting a negative reaction, expect these gaps to get filled and Amazon to tank. Okay, guys? Now, that's going to be impactful. So is the PCE report. But here's what I'm seeing on the charts. I'm going to keep this very brief. There's a bearish divergence developing on SPY, but there's no clear sign if it's done developing or not. It's pushing and has also momentum. So if we're bullish, it's going to fly past 414 to get closer to 416. If we're bearish, it's going to come crashing below 411 all the way down to 406. It's got to be one of those two. Looking at the VIX, since it's down almost 10% in one day, that tends to favor more downside for the market later on either Friday or Monday, since the VIX is very, very down. It also has a possible, I'm not really seeing a bullish divergence on the hourly. I think on the daily there was one. Let me just double check it. No, I'm not really seeing any bullish divergences on it, so we'll see what the VIX does, but it's down pretty hard right now. The market's holding up nicely, looking very strong right now. But this could be a big trap depending on how Amazon's earnings goes. We'll see how it goes. I have to be very patient. I know expectations are very low for it, so I'm still in the middle, but I do want to note that we have a bearish divergence developing right now. Also, for the last 7 weeks, when SPY is green on Thursdays, we tend to be red on Fridays, and vice versa. That's been going on for the last 7 weeks. If you just look at the chart, you could see it. So, for example, if you look at the 31st, let me just go back a little bit more. If you look at, let's just see, the 24th, we were green on Friday, but we were red on Thursday. And this was back in March. Go forward 1 week, and what you're going to see is we were red on Thursday, the 30th of March, green on Friday. All right. Let's go forward 1 more week. We were red on Thursday, the 5th of April, green on Friday. Going forward 1 more week, we were, let me see, green on Thursday. Then we had a red day Friday. We came down. We actually closed a little red for Friday. This was in mid-April. Going into last week, we had a green day on Thursday. Friday was a flat day, a little bit red overall. And then the trend has continued. So let's see how this goes. I mean, the odds do favor downside because of the VIX being at support, Amazon pumping hard before earnings, because Meta and Microsoft dumped before earnings. Earnings came out and they pumped. Amazon is pumping before earnings. That makes me a little suspicious. We have a crazy, nice candle. It does look bullish technically, but I'd still be very open to any possibility. If Amazon does well, expect a pump. If they don't do well, expect us to crash. For Tesla, if Amazon does well, Tesla could fly up to 163 or even higher. If Amazon does not do well and the market tanks, Tesla could come all the way down to 155. For NIO, if Amazon does well and the market pumps, expect it to break above $8. If Amazon doesn't do well and the PCE report is just okay, we could see NIO come all the way down to 7.7 as the QQQ drops. So make sure you guys are prepared for that. For the QQQ, finally, before I end this video, just want to note that the QQQ is up pretty big, up almost 3%, which is crazy, but we are near some very key resistance around this 321 area. We do have a bearish divergence, technically, but it could still be developing, so I don't know if we're ready to tank or anything like that, right? Price made a lower high, RSI is making a higher high. It's actually very overbought on the QQQ. This, however, does not matter as much. It's going to depend on Amazon's earnings. If Amazon does well, expect it to fly up even higher, get closer to 321, 324. If Amazon does not do well, expect a crash and a gap fill down to 312 as the days progress. Both are very possible, but in my opinion, it's a little more likely for us to cool off at least a bit because of the bearish divergences, the pattern I showed you on SPY, and also because of many other factors like the VIX and the dollar index, the 10-year treasury yield both pumping. All right, guys, that's what I have for this video. I'm prepared for anything for all of these different stocks, but I do believe the odds are favoring downside for tomorrow. I'm a little bit more inclined to thinking that, which is very contrary to popular belief right now, because so many people are turning into perma bulls right now. But I'm telling you, remember the patterns and look at the indicators. So if we're NIO, if we're bullish, $8 could come. If we're bearish, it could come all the way down to 7.7 to 7.6. What do I think is going to happen? I don't know. I really don't know. It depends on Amazon. My best guess is more downside based off the factors I listed in this video. And I do believe it's going to likely happen. We might see NIO come down to 7.6. I would love to be wrong. I would love Amazon to prove me wrong, but that's just my prediction. All right, guys, thank you all for listening. Have a great day. I have some merch for you guys around the comments section if you're interested. If not, that's completely fine with me. And don't forget about the Moomoo link down below and in the description. The offer ends in 3 days to get your 5 to 15 free stocks. Thank you for listening. NIO to the moon, as the long term is very bright, and peace out.